going on, guys? Austin here with Fishing for the Flats. And today we're going to do kind of a different video. Weather been a little nasty around here, these parts lately, and we just ain't been able to get a lot of footage because the weather hasn't been cooperating. It's been kind of rainy, been a little windy, had some colder days. Really just ain't been able to get out there on the water. So today I wanted to kind of sit down with you guys and go over some of the baits I like to use on a day-to-day basis and how I like to work them. This is going to be more or less like a tips and tricks kind of video, and just to maybe give you guys a little bit of my opinion on how to catch fish whenever you're out there. And this is going to be more or less not specifically targeting any species of fish. It's going to just kind of be what I like to take out when I go and I'm just trying to have a day where I'm not targeting anything in particular, and I'm just trying to go out there and catch fish. Whether that be anywhere from snook to redfish, trout, jack crevalle, cobia, wherever it might be. How I like to rig up my baits and what baits I like to use to just go out there and catch fish. So to start off with, my first choice every time I go fishing, no matter the case, is going to be live bait, because you can use these mirror lures and these crankbaits, but there's not going to be anything better than what they're actually going to be trying to eat. So whether that be greenbacks, pinfish, mullet, or live shrimp, that's my first choice every time I go out. And because I want to try to make it look as natural as possible, because I believe if you try to make it look as natural as possible, those fish are going to bite. But there are certain days where that's not the case. You can throw a live greenback out there, you can throw a live pinfish, a live shrimp, and they just won't eat it. But then, if that's the case, what I like to do, first thing I like to do, I like to throw on one of these mirror lures, these MR17s, and personally, color all depends on what kind of water you're fishing. And whether it be hard baits or soft plastics. Color, a lot of people say color means a lot, and I don't want to say it doesn't, but how I like to look at it is shade rather than color plays in effect more than the actual color of it, because when you're fishing darker water, darker brackish water, more or less you're going to try to throw a lighter colored bait. That way it sticks out, that way these fish are seeing it. If you're fishing in some clearer water, you might use a darker bait so it sticks out. I don't think whether it's red or blue or black or purple really matters. I think it's all just a shade, in my opinion. Some people might not agree with that, but that's just my opinion. So the types of hooks I like to use when I am freelining live shrimp, or greenbacks or whatever, I like to freeline my live bait. I don't like to use a bobber. In my opinion, I'm just not a fan of a strike indicator such as a bobber. I like to, just hook my braid up straight to my leader and tie on a 2/0 circle hook and throw me some live bait on there and throw it out. And you can kind of work it almost like artificial, but for the most part, your live bait's going to do the work for you. So the circle hooks of choice that I like to use are these VMC 2/0 circle hooks. They seem to be very, very strong hooks, and I like the shape of them. I just like everything about them, and that's why the VMC circle hooks are the hooks that I like to choose. So if you guys haven't used them before, maybe go try and give them a shot, see how you like them. I'm a big fan of them, and I've had a lot of luck with these hooks. Now, on days where live bait's just not working for you, and it happens. Some days artificial works better than live bait, and when you run into situations like that, what I like to do is the first thing I'm going to throw on is one of these MR17 mirror lures. And it all depends on the temperature of the water, how I'm going to fish it. Now, I think where a lot of people mess up is their technique. If you go to a spot that you've caught fish there before, but those fish aren't biting, try switching up your technique a little bit. When you're throwing a twitch bait, most of the time how people, when they cast, they're twitching it twice, reel, twisting it twice, reel. That's awesome. Use that technique, but kind of bounce your counts in between your twitches. So what I like to do in cold temperatures, like this time of the year, is I'll do a 10 count. Anywhere from a 6 to a 10 count, depending on how cold that water is. So I'll cast out and I'll twitch that twice. And I'll twitch it twice, and when I twitch it twice, you're reeling in your slack in between twitches. Now, it's all about how slow you do it, because more or less, those fish are always going to hit that bait when it's on a pause. Now, fish become very lethargic when water temperatures drop. So, the slower the bait moves, the more they're going to hit it in colder water. But now, when the water warms up, you might be catching trout on those fast 2-3 second pauses in between twitches. But this time of the year, more or less, it's not going to happen. They're going to do it on slower counts. Anywhere from a 6 to 10 count is where I have the most luck this time of year when using a mirror lure. And a lot of other companies make the same thing as these suspended twitch baits. But me personally, I've always loved the mirror lure. I've had a lot of luck with them, and why fix what's not broken? Now, I'm not, we've got plenty of Rapalas up here on the wall that we use from time to time, but I'm just a huge fan of these mirror lures, so that's why I stick with them. Second thing I'll throw from time to time is the Z-Man trout trick, and I normally keep a dark color and a light color in my tackle box. All depending on, because the water color can change drastically whether you, in this area especially, whether you run north or whether you run south. And it all, me personally, I don't make a game plan. I don't make a real good game plan before I put my boat in the water. It's kind of, I look at the weather kind of when I'm there, look how the water's moving, look at my tides, and once I get out there, it's like, all right, I'm gonna run north or I'm gonna run south. And so I try to keep, I like to keep a dark color, I like to keep a lighter color, just in case. So for these trout tricks, I'll throw on an 1/8 ounce jig head, because I'll throw these they're very light, soft plastic. So you throw an 1/8 ounce jig head on there when you're fishing in shallower water, say anywhere from about 3 foot or shallower. I like to throw these because they don't sink as fast. Because you don't want it to sink and get caught up in the rocks or in the oyster beds. You want to kind of keep it up out of the ground. So when I'm using these soft plastics here, I'm fishing in really anywhere from 3 foot water to any shallower. Now, when I am fishing channels or deeper holes back in these creeks where I'm fishing anywhere from 4 to 6 or 7 foot of water, I like to throw a little bit of a heavier soft plastic on there on about a 1/4 inch jig head, a 1/4 ounce jig head, I apologize, and something that's going to sink a little bit faster. Now when I do that, I throw on one of these Berkeley Gulp ripple mullets. And I don't know if you noticed on that, but every soft plastic I use, it's got a chartreuse tail. It's just something that I do. You can get them without a chartreuse tail, and I'm sure you can catch fish on them, but for some reason I'm a big fan of these chartreuse tail, whether it has a dark shade color on it or a light shade color on it. But anyway, these gulps are a lot harder of a plastic than these Z-Mans are, so they weigh a little bit more. And once you throw that 1/4 ounce jig head on there, it's going to sink a lot faster. And same thing as before, it all depends on what kind of water you're fishing, whether you're going to throw a darker or a lighter color on there. Now, when it comes to techniques, there's probably a million types of techniques you can use. It's all on preference. Me personally, if I'm throwing those gulps with the ripple mullet that have that little bit of a tail on the back, I'll swim them. Now sometimes that doesn't work. You got to kind of bounce it a little bit too. You just got to kind of work with it. It all depends. And same thing with these trout tricks and with these gulp. Colder water, you want to go slower. If you think you're going too slow, go slow. That's just how it is this time of year. But with that being said, I really hope this will help you guys, and y'all stay tuned for any upcoming videos. I appreciate it. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at Fishing Florida Flats, and follow us on Instagram at Fishing Florida Flats. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and till then, we'll see you guys next time.